What's going on, people? Welcome to Literary Crack. It's time to hit them books, just like you hit the pipe back in the 9th grade. Gotta have you. And today, introducing you to our cast of characters. This is definitely the corniest intro I've ever done. I'm Shane Lowe here with Justin Hurd. You know us well. But this concept came out of a whole group of people in a show that we did called The Library. And today we brought on all the people from the library to introduce themselves and talk about lots of books. How's it going? How you doing?
Hi, I'm a character.
Woo!
Stop, Dora. Stop.
I'm a real boy. Look at that.
Drew does give off main character like energy.
That's
So
I've always considered myself to try hard to be a minor character on the stage.
Who's the one that
That's
gets
true.
like he's in like book 3 and you think he's gonna make it to the end and just like a stray bullet catches him in the final act
He
and
gets
like everyone
really
leaps
morbid.
over his death.
Yeah.
How did it happen?
That's so true. So
I'm that guy like nobody watches, and then like he's like at the second to final act, he like stands in the way of the guy like, no, I will not, you can't. Then just smash dead.
So today we're gonna run the gauntlet a little bit. We're gonna talk about, just so that you know, when we get into our updates, we'll start doing regular updates about things that we're reading. We're gonna run through and talk about everyone's favorite genres, and they have to pick a favorite book in that genre. We've promoted it to our friends as you get bonus points if you cry, because you can't pick. It's brilliant. So we're keeping score. Justin and I just decided right now, Justin, you and I get to score people based on their interests, and we will decide at the end of the show who has the best book taste.
We are absolutely not doing that, but
Shit!
good idea.
That's such a good idea.
You'll get many points for crying only. Crying is the
I
only
really
way
meant
you
Does the
score.
winner get like a crack pipe?
Yeah, an engraved literary crack pipe.
That's what I'm here for.
That's right. Ties in for the merch.
When we are selling merch, that'll be something we definly offer, and I'm sure there will be no
good,
problems
yes.
whatsoever.
I will buy one. At least
That would
one.
totally sell. Absolutely. All right, man. So without further ado,
Don't ask what it's for.
let's go. Kick this thing off with Drew. You're first in the list.
What? Why?
Surprise! Because
That's
you're the main
bull-
character, obviously.
Oh.
Thought you knew that.
I'm not. You just went.
He told you were gonna be first, dude.
You weren't supposed to.
I warned
tell
you in
everyone
the
that.
Patreon part of the show, the pre-stream.
We were doing a bit. Gosh, you have to ruin everything.
Sorry, man.
You were not.
You're right. I forgot.
Yeah, that's fair.
No, I was. Yes.
What do you think? Top genres,
You're-
top books.
Yeah, genres and books.
I don't think I can come up with 10. I'll just say that, or
You
rather,
don't
I
have
would
to do
say
10.
Yeah.
No,
Okay.
no, no.
10,
All
no,
right.
no,
Good.
just
I
one
would
of
just
each.
say, if I do, this show will just be too
10
long.
genres?
No.
No.
All right.
No.
All right. Yeah. So
No,
I do.
just a couple.
I am
clearly
a
prepared
fan
well for
of. I am quite a fan of sci-fi, but like specifically sci-fi that's trying to tell a meaningful, like an interesting prediction of the future that is still telling a story about people today, which I guess would sort of lean towards more the dystopic.
Like 1984.
And exactly like 1984. Wow, if you're just gonna preempt all of my book recommendations before I even get there, then it's gonna
100%.
you can do the show yourself, as far as I'm concerned.
Absolutely.
As a matter of fact, I will.
All right. Okay. Great.
Yeah, Shane will just introduce us all and tell us what our favorite book genres and books are.
I'm a character. That's right. Yes. Yeah. Follow me. Read 1984.
I don't know.
It's a story about a work uprising that didn't work. Yeah, it's a I always find myself returning to it. It's a very it's sort of like it's sort of annoyingly become an armchair philosophist's guide to the future. But it's not really Eric's fault that happened. It's more of society's fault for following his blueprint. So it's a useful reminder a lot of times, I think, because it's sort of timeless in the way it applies. Animal Farm is sort of in a similar way, but it's more sort of historical, I guess. But so yeah, that would be a good example of stuff I like. I do not like. I have this weird relationship with the fantasy genre because I say I don't like fantasy,
You love it.
yet I find myself reading mostly fantasy books.
Which means you love it.
Yeah, I guess. I cannot go without recommending, you know, anything by Brent Weeks, but especially the Lightbringer saga. I feel like recommending one. I mean, I'll say Black Prism because it's the first one, and it is definitely one of the stronger books in the series. But I feel like it's wrong to recommend a book from a series if you kind of have to go in for the series, or you don't. It's not really worth it for me. That's me. I don't. So yeah, very, very good. It's some of the most moving stuff that I've ever read in my whole gosh darn life, for sure. It's
Which is very long.
yes, it's very long, and that's okay though.
No, your life.
Oh yes, my is so long. Yeah. Oh yes.
I was gonna make a joke about that, but I decided I've been too mean to Drew today. This is really uncommon. I want you to
Yeah. I
know
don't know why.
You can
am-
never be too mean to Drew.
I am
apparently
rarely
not,
this mean
yeah.
to Drew.
So we'll talk about it after the show.
You have words, young man.
So realized I messed up though, because I now have to swerve back to the science fiction for more of my recommendation. Well, actually no, I'll stay in fantasy because it's weird. I got to give these guys credit because some of the best stuff that I have read has come from these guys' recommendations, and those would be both of the next ones that I'm gonna go with. First is The Wandering Inn. I have it's complete, like it's so I love it for the way in which it approaches conflict in such a multifaceted way, where it comes at it from a million different directions and really takes its time to build things up, so that when they finally reach the crisis point, you buy it from everyone's perspective. You understand there are villains, but even from the villains, you sort of understand why they're doing what they're doing, and you can map them to like real world analogs of people, and you sort of get how they tick and work. And I think that it's very timely in this time for trying to better understand people, especially people who do things that you don't like and think are terrible, for trying to deal with them, to maybe make them do less of the things that you think are terrible. And then the second one, of course, is Worm, by Wild Bow. I think, can we count Worm's web serials? Are those allowed?
Absolutely.
Yeah, of
Okay.
course.
Because I found it very, first of all, I've always wanted to do superheroes, but I've found the superhero dynamic, first of all, in DC, I found very, a lot of the DC writers have a thing against killing of people, to the extent that the JLA is they're like, they've got this lawful good streak that forbids them from embracing the reality that people in desperate situations have to do certain things to survive, or just make mistakes. There's very little room for redemption in the Justice League. You're a hero, a paragon of virtue, until you do something wrong, and then you're out forever. You're an enemy, you're an outcast. You have to be hunted down, destroyed, and nuked from space. And they sort of write that as they don't really. There's not a lot of self-reflection, I find, so that's frustrating. And then Marvel too. Marvel was a bit better, but particularly with the Disney stuff, I find it's all obsessed with like Dragon Ball Z kinds of like, so and so's power level is higher than over 9,000, so they can defeat so and so with this magic bean that they get put on that allows them to, in this one instance, defeat so and so with the thing, and it lets the time gem goes into the pew. Like, I'm just like, okay, whatever, I don't care. But what Wildbow was able to do with superheroes, I found to be much more compelling, because it was using a lot of the same building blocks, but being in a really smart way to both explain why they exist, but also have a system that makes sense within it and follows certain rules. And even when it breaks those rules, it has logic about how those rules are broken. But then the purpose, it doesn't forget its purpose, which is not about weird, cool, crazy, interesting RPG systems. It's actually about people and characters and doing things, which is always where I return to. And I thought that was it does a great job of like making the writing is so economical in the way it moves the plot forward, and whenever it's taking a break, it finds ways to like weave in character moments and just sort of pull on the web of these characters and the relationships that they have with each other, and it's all so good. So Worm and Ward series, I actually sort of prefer Ward, but you have to get to Worm first. So again, read, it's just one continuous arc. And I think the last one that I will go to, because I've certainly filibustered a lot already, is historical fiction. And I think probably my favorite historical I would qualify it as historical fiction. Is the book Catch-22 by Joseph Heller, which is written about a bombardier named Jolean in the Second World War, who is he goes to fighter pilot school because he thinks that it's going to sort of be an easy way to he'll do a few bombing runs or whatever and then be back quickly, and that'll be his service and then it'll be done. But then he gets in this unit where they have this need to raise the number of missions in order to like appease the top, and so the people don't get sent home until they do that, so they just are stuck there basically. And it explores the psyche of these people trying to survive in a situation that is sort of absurd, and it does a good job of sort of capturing the absurdities of war and how certain people crack, and there are some sociopaths and some just weirdos and everything. I thought that was a very very mean, and I love the tone of it. It does a really great job of being absolutely off the wall, just hilarious for like 3/4 of its running time, and then the last quarter just completely tone shift, really grim, really surreal, really messed up, and just completely leaning into the actual like human cost of what you'd been sort of like been able to sort of side eye and ignore and make fun of, and it's very effective to do that rug pull. So I was very effective. So yeah, I think
awesome.
Definitely a lot of my favorite books.
No, yeah, that's good stuff. Thank you, Drew, for all of that, and that was really good.
We'll see you next week.
And that is the longest we've ever let Drew talk. As a group.
Never happened again.
Ever.
Yeah, never happened again. We gave him that time, and he had it. So, no, great recommendations. Jolean is next. Oh, did we just
All right.
There you were. Okay, Jolean. So you got favorite? So yeah. So like one, favorite genres and like a favorite book from those genres, if you have one.
I'm going to say psychological thriller and Hot Blooded by Lisa Jackson, children's, and Chocolate Dreams by Helen Perelman. So it's children's genre, Chocolate Dreams by Helen Perelman. Hot Blooded is about a radio psychologist that is being terrorized by somebody because she had no control over an event that took place, and it's coming back to haunt her 9 years after it happened. Chocolate Dreams is about all these food fairies, like mint, gummy, and chocolate fairies, who go on a bunch of adventures in Sugar Valley, where you've got a chocolate river, You have gummy animals in the forest and that sort of thing. And it's just a series on, stopping a troll from eating a whole bunch of pretzel sticks and just silly things like that.
Important question. Are there turtles?
I don't know.
I hope so. It'll make this book
Did you
so
say?
good.
Did you say Chocolate Dream or Chocolate June?
Chocolate Dreams.
Okay. I messed that one up. Okay, cool.
Chocolate June sounds like an erotic summer novel.
I was trying to figure out, like, what is Chocolate June? Like, the name was really...
She was like describing it as like, this does not fit that theme.
Yeah.
This sounds like an acid trip. This is
It was like the
crazy.
summer of '69 novel.
That's right.
There you
This is
go.
Brian Adams' autobiography. What's going on?
Brian
Yeah,
Adams
it's
and the
really hard
Chocolate
for me to
June.
give summaries, so sorry for that.
No, that's okay.
No, this is great.
Okay.
I have another thingy, though.
What do you got?
It's Suicide Notes by Michael Thomas Ford. It's about somebody who gets into the psych ward. I'm not spoiling anything. Like, this is
We got you.
basic shit. I don't know how to give good summaries, but I do know how to refrain from spoiling stuff. It's weird.
Critical skill.
So it's about this it's about this teenager who gets sent to the psych ward because he attempted suicide. Me giving the reason for why he did it would be a spoiler. But the reason why I like it is because, contrary to what people say, unfortunately, having been institutionalized in these kinds of settings 8 times throughout my 21 years of life, books really do portray some shit that goes down in these places quite accurately. And it was just really nice to see that I'm not wrong when I tell people, yeah, sometimes what you see in the books about these residential facilities are in fact true. So it just sticks with me because the sentiments of the characters and the way that the place is ran really mimics some of the things that I've endured in those places.
It's really great that we have such a diversity of tastes and, people that read a lot of different things and stuff like that.
Yes.
Like, it's not just going to, fantasy, sci-fi. We have people, a lot of us do read that, but we have people here that read other things, and that's really good.
Yeah, it's so true. I love talking about fantasy and sci-fi, but I also love talking to people about things that I don't read that often. It's a lot of fun.
David
So
Bardling.
up next.
Let's see. So back to sci-fi and fantasy then.
Yeah,
Or
sounds
whatever.
great.
Yeah, exactly.
Whatever you like, man.
Yeah, man. So I'm mostly a sci-fi reader. I think I would call myself a hard sci-fi reader, where I actually like a lot of the classics like Foundation and Dune, all those good series.
What a nerd.
Right.
I'm just kidding.
Right? Absolutely.
Me too,
I
man.
will fully admit, bro. Fully admit. In terms of modern series, you got Red Rising. Is a pretty hard sci-fi. Yeah. So yeah, I mostly read sci-fi and superheroes. Let's say my favorite book. I consider superhero usually sci-fi-esque, but that's just me, maybe.
I would agree.
And my favorite superhero story. Worm is great, but it's very huge, and so I'd have to say, for someone who just can't sit down and read like 2 million words, right, or just doesn't feel like doing it, read Vicious by V.E. Schwab. It's so good, such a good like moral gray characters, and you got it set in like a college environment, so it's much more relatable, I think. Yeah, very good book. And the second one's okay. It is part of a series. She wrote a sequel, but first one's amazing.
Does it stand alone?
Yes. First
Nice.
one does like.
Yeah, I've read
you
the
can
first
just
one as
read
well.
the
It stands. I've never read the sequel, but the first one it has an ending, and the ending is fine.
Yeah. Sequel's okay. Like I said, not as good.
That's really helpful. That's good to know.
Yeah, I read a lot
if you
of
rate it up there
game
with
lit
Worm,
too.
I gotta read it.
Well,
Right.
okay. Tell me if I'm wrong, David. It's not like Worm in the sense of like if you're thinking about the power sets that Worm has.
Worm is very grand.
Yeah.
This is a very
small
like
story,
personal, characterly driven.
It's like it's about a rivalry between essentially two people.
To college.
Yeah, and it's like a revenge plot kind of thing. It's not like Worm gets really wild, and this doesn't do that. But it's a good story just for what it is.
It's a very character driven story.
Yeah.
So it's
It can't be
very
worse
much-
than
if you don't
The Magicians.
if you don't care about the character.
You know what?
Oh no, it's way better.
Any
than
college
this.
story is better than The Magicians, right? So I'm in for it anyway.
Definitely.
God, I should have put that in our episode about books that we don't like that other people like. That would have been good.
Do people like?
I would
I
have
think the
that.
TV show-
Magicians has. I know you can't say Goodreads ratings for everything. The Magicians has like a 3.48 on Goodreads, which for Goodreads is really bad. Like that's a hard thing to get. So I don't even feel like I can hate on it because so many people hate it. I've heard the show's better, but yeah,
It's like the Little Caesars
Yeah, the show's a
of
little
books.
better, but still kind of.
Yeah, it's just a book is garbage. It's news fest. Sorry if you like it. If you like it, good for you. We don't.
It's dreadful. We like you though.
In terms
Keep
of
listening.
like specialized genres that most people probably won't read, I do read because I'm a philosophy major, so I do read philosophy sometimes. Mostly like I'm interested in like language and stuff. So, Why Only Us is a good book about why humans develop language and why other animals haven't spoken language. Why other animals haven't really done. It's a really interesting read. And then I read a lot of game literature too. So lit RPG, but then also just like novelizations of game events like World of Warcraft and stuff.
Those are really
that's
fun.
This is a genre I haven't really breached yet. Besides like lit RPG, and I haven't really gone into that at all. So that's super interesting.
I had a friend who wrote a fan
Yeah, man.
fiction
Good
trilogy
stuff.
of the whole Doom novels. And
I just started reading
Nice.
those. Well, it's weird because they start at like 12. So like the ones that they tell you to start at like 12 through 16 or something. But like the Dune novels have like 12 or like 11 books before that.
oh, interesting. I didn't realize. No, sorry. I was talking about like the game Doom. I said it wrong.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, he was talking
wrote
about Dune.
Oh, I thought you said Dune. Okay.
I did.
I did too.
I made a mistake. Well, I said Doom
Oh.
novels,
No, I
so
heard-
it just
I
got
heard
really
Doom.
blurred really fast.
You did.
But he like wrote fan fiction for Doom, the games, and it was something that I really enjoyed. I read it a couple times, and now it's something that I probably wouldn't enjoy as much. I can't even remember the name of it.
You're talking about that erotic fan fiction, right? Yeah, that
right?
Doom
Yeah, the
Space
one
Marine.
with
The one with the rabbit.
Space Marine, and the
the rabbit
and the
and the
rifle.
demon steals his soul, and then
And
that
then-
was crazy.
Hot
Yeah, it was
stuff.
really good. Drew recommended it to me actually. There's also an
Exactly.
audio drama for it.
Is there
It's called
really?
Doing It on the Moon. It's really good. Look it up. It's a
I want
focus
to
on the
read.
family production. I think you would dig it.
Of course, that's where all the good graphic novels come from.
All the good erotica audio dramas.
From Focus on the Family. I think Precious is next to talk about
That's right.
her genre.
Can I add a
Introducing-
book?
You can add a book next time.
So I don't read as avidly as all of you. Unfortunately, I need to. But I think I really love sci-fi for sure. I have like a top 4. The first has to be Lightbringer. There's just so
Best
much
sci-fi
nuance
book.
there. I haven't found
was so
anything
confused.
that I love more than that. I love Mistborn, and then Rhaenyra is fantastic.
Yeah.
I really like Rhaenyra, and then I recently read that I really liked Tales of the Ketty J series. A bit of misfit pirates
My love.
going on. Yep. Mixed with a little bit of romance and like all kinds of crazy adventures. I was like, okay. And the best part was that they had a cat perspective. There was a cat on the crew, and the
That's
cat
true.
got to have a perspective, and that made me really happy.
This is
cat
like
was
I pretty much
crazy.
try to sell this book by the cat perspective. Like I love the
That's how
series.
I
That's
feel
how
about
Shane
reading.
sold it.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's just everyone.
That's how
like,
Shane got me to read it. I was like, "What are you talking about?" And then it took forever for him to like get like for his perspective to be seen. And I was like, "Where's the cat?" And he's like, "You gotta wait.
it's coming. Yeah.
The cat's
I was
coming."
like a real salesman. I was like, "There's a cat." Luckily, she didn't ask how soon or how much you get to see the cat.
No,
It was like,
because I
"There's a
had gotten
cat."
my eye taken out. I needed a distraction, man. I didn't care.
I have a
was
very
like, I'm just
important
gonna read a
question.
book. Huh.
Yes.
What is your favorite sci-fi book? I was
Look,
waiting
man.
for the sci-fi book, and I was like, "Hey, it's the next one." And then the next one is like, not sci-fi. I was like, "Wait, it's the next one." I'm waiting
I
for the
told
sci-fi
you.
book over
I already
here.
told you that I'm a questionable person to be here.
You're doing great. We're so
I'm
happy
having a
you're
great
here.
time.
For that. I also like biographies. I there's a lot more that I have on my list to read, but I really like reading people's stories, particularly musicians. But I think the last one I read was Alicia Keys, and then I have a bunch on my list that I want to get to. I have a bunch of books written down that I have yet to read that I really want to read. So there's that. But I think it's mainly like whatever these people recommend. Because I don't...
Just not Worm.
Yeah, just not Worm, exactly.
I'm working on selling The Wandering Inn to Precious next. Not
Yeah, he
next,
said
'cause
I
there's
should
something
read
else.
that,
Ooh.
and I
Something
was
else
just
first.
like, I don't know,
But-
man.
I this is how I always recommend The Wandering Inn to people that aren't avid readers. Just start and assume you'll never finish it, but know that you'll love however much you get through, and it's
Is it
worth
just
it.
start it, and as much as you get
just
through,
start.
you'll have fun.
I don't know. That's the hard part. Like, even with series, anything like that, if it's long, I'm like, I don't know if I want to get involved in this. Like,
We got Stormlight coming up later this year. Look
You
out!
should read The Wheel of Time.
Absolutely.
not.
I don't think Precious would survive the Wheel of Time. Like, to be fair to Precious taste,
Probably not.
I don't think it would work.
I don't
for her.
think most people survive The Wheel of Time. I don't know
That's true.
how it was read.
I would do Stormlight. I don't want to do Wheel of Time.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
That's fair. This man survived the Wheel of Time. It's the perfect segue to introduce you to Ty. How's it going, man? The
Hi.
funniest person on the show.
Ty is so
Wow.
old. He read the Wheel of
Bummer.
Time books as they came out. It's incredible. We're so happy.
I
you're
actually
with
don't
us.
I
know
is
if
so
that's
old.
true.
He read The Lord of the Rings as it came out.
There you go. I was actually a Middle Earth.
That's
There you
right.
go.
That's right.
I have to say, much like Precious, I also love sci-fi, so I have to suggest 50 Shades of Grey, because
That's my jam. I love that book. I
That's
love
my
the
sci-fi
soundtrack.
novel.
Lots of
like Nickelback.
biology, science, biological
exactly.
sciences.
Yeah. Yeah, the whips are very science fiction.
Chemistry.
Super. Yeah. Yeah.
Best book, erotic book ever written, I have to say, you know?
Almost
yeah,
as
there
good
you
as
go.
Daddy Longstroke.
Oh. No, but in all seriousness, I know this is slightly, but in all seriousness, 50 Shades of Grey was written terribly. We all know this, but there's a series called The Submissive that I read that was much better, similar vein.
I think
if
John
people are
Gwynne
going to
wrote it.
read that, they need to read that.
Did
that one was
Ellen
good.
or Gilbert Gottfried read from those?
I don't know. That would be a good
Did
thing
Morgan
to find
Freeman
out.
narrate it?
If
I don't know.
I hope
if
so.
any of us ever gets rich, we should. Oh no, he's dead now. Dang it! I was gonna say we should.
What?
That kind of puts
How
a damper on
inconvenient.
your plan.
That's it. For a second, I thought you were talking about Morgan Freeman. I got really scared.
No, Gilbert
better not be
Gottfried.
dead.
I want to pay Gilbert Gottfried to narrate like the top literotica books. But
I want
can't.
James Earl Jones to narrate them, actually.
Ooh, he might do
As
too
like
good
Mufasa.
Samuel L. Jackson, maybe.
There you
though.
go.
Interesting. I feel like James Earl Jones, but honestly, I feel like women would legitimately buy those books just to hear
That's
him
true.
do his
Some
thing.
men too.
There you go.
Yeah, some men,
Pornhub's. Yeah, let's not discriminate. Pornhub's
Yeah,
like valuation would
Pornhub
just
might
plummet when
sponsor
James
us.
Earl Jones started reading.
That's true.
Like, I think Pornhub would actively lobby to keep people from buying those books.
Can we get
Yeah.
like Benedict Cumberbatch to read them? God would make so much money. We'd be rich.
Yeah. So what
So other
genres
than
do
your
you like?
sci-fi
Ty?
addiction. What do you
Yeah.
Yeah, so I have a couple. One of the books that actually got me into programming more and like computer security was Little Brother by Cory Doctorow. It's like it has like a very 9/11 vibe where once 9/11 happened, we basically like lost a lot of privacy and with the Patriot Act and stuff. So I think it's kind of based around the same idea. It's fiction, but it's like dystopian fiction, yes. Also young adult apparently. And then the second version, or the second to that, is Homeland, which it's kind of like a follow-on, but it's essentially about like 4 kids that are into like computer security, and San Francisco gets bombed, like one of the bridges, and like Homeland Security comes in and takes over San Francisco, and they find ways to like work against them. It's interesting because a lot of what he talks about and like the premise of his book is based around like things that you can actually do and things that like the government can do. So like the network that they use to circumvent a lot of this stuff as like something that was built or can exist. And then from that, Demon and Freedom, that's the series from Daniel
Man, yeah.
That's what I was going to recommend. So good, you got there.
Awesome. Glad I could help you. You don't have to wait until next week. Very technical. But the thing I also love about those books is they talk about like technology that the government has or like that exists that we don't know about. So one of them is like these sound acoustic pods, and they cause like vibrations that make your ears bleed and stuff, but it's used as like crowd control, or to like basically do harm to people like remotely, as a security system. So and then for sci-fi, actually sci-fi, I have like Bobaverse, not 50 Shades. Just circling back there. I really like Bobaverse. It's based on like construction and building, and it's essentially like a futuristic like we have the end of the world, World War III or whatever, and someone's like intelligence and personality is uploaded into a computer, so they're like an AI, and their goal is to like construct and like build basically new versions of themselves. And then the last one is Lit RPG. It's Shadeslinger. We're waiting for the 5th book, I think. I kind of lost interest like in book 2 and 3 because they just got a little bit like redundant. But one of the amazing things about this is it really kind of gives you an idea of like what games could be like. So I'm working on like an online game, and I want to use a lot of the concepts and ideas from like the dungeons and things that they go into to like build my own systems. So it's a really fun book. There's a talking axe, and I honestly stayed in it for him. They also get the AI. This guy has like an AI system, and she joins the game, and I stayed in it for her too. She's great.
That sounds really cool.
That's
actually.
awesome. Do you have a fantasy one, right? Somewhere in there.
Not really. I really wanted to suggest like the Iron Druid. I don't read a ton of fantasy. And I still will suggest Iron Druid, but like the last book had this weird social justice, like the character that was about like kicking ass and drinking and being Irish turned into like talking about toppling the patriarchy, and like it was really weird, and it was like a huge switch from what he did, and I don't know why he did it. And there's also like Sigils and Ink. It's like the Sigil Agent series. It's kind of based on that same universe. I really got into those too, but then in the second book, the guy starts talking about like his white privilege and all this stuff, and it's like, this is nothing, like it's like virtue signaling. Like you're not like it doesn't fit in the scene, it doesn't fit in the story. It's weird. I don't understand. So I don't know. I like them, but you have to get through some shit.
Yeah, I read like the first 8 Iron Druid, and then I just heard from everyone that like the last one was terrible, and so I just never went back.
Yeah, take like the social justice stuff, which like I'm not opposed to, but like when you just cram it, it's like when people were trying to make like LGBT friendly books, and they were like, hey, if we just slap a gay character in, we'll be good, right? Like, just and like they bash you in the face with it, and that's what this feels like.
Yeah, I enjoyed Iron Druid, but like, and like plot wise, I liked the ending. I thought it was good. There's some good twists and some things that you didn't expect. But I agree, from like a character development perspective, it's like this just feels a little off. This doesn't feel like the natural progression of this character. It almost feels like the character should have regressed. Like the character should have gone the other way, like started SJW and then just got more and more plastered. If that was the approach that Kevin Hearn was going to take.
You can't virtue signal with regression. Come on, man.
I know, yeah. It wouldn't accomplish the same goal. On another note, though, Kevin Hearn's Twitter is great. Highly
I
recommend.
love Kevin Hearn. That's the thing that confused me. Is like we met him in
Yes.
person, and we got like a picture with him and like the dogs. We had guide dogs, and like we read him a braille note and all this stuff. And like he's such a cool person, and he makes jokes. Like he in the series, like Jesus. So the like one of the ideas is like gods can
I love Jesus.
come down. And they come as like who people see them as. So like one of them was a Mexican Jesus, the other one was a black Jesus. And when someone mentioned it at the reading, he was like, well, the people who think Jesus is white are probably not the people that are going to be able to read my books anyway. So like he squeezes like jokes and ideas
That's
in
great.
that you just kind of laugh at. And I'm like, that's cool. But then the one selling point I will say is it has a telepathically talking dog, and eventually 2 telepathically talking dogs. And they're amazing.
So good. Those are the only dogs I like. We'll unpack that in another episode. I love that. That's so interesting. And also, want to welcome Mr. Tony to the show. He's been silent the entire episode. Why? Because he just joined us right in time. Welcome to Literary Crack, sir.
Yes. Exciting.
We
exciting. I won't contribute too much.
You
I don't want to
must
contribute too
name
much.
your favorite genres and books from those genres.
Oh, easy. Horror and suspense, and actually right now my favorite is Under the Dome by Stephen King. Although I just started
Nice.
reading Skeleton Crew again, from my childhood. So I'm
What's
taking
Skeleton
a deep
Crew?
dive down Stephen King's rabbit hole again. So
What's Skeleton Crew?
Skeleton Crew is it's comprised of a bunch of his short stories. I think there's like 7 or 8 of them in the volume 1. So for example, The Mist, which is one that some people know, and it's basically about it always takes place in like the Northeast, right? In Maine.
Always
That's
in
where he's
Maine, yeah.
from. It's
Yeah.
always in frickin' Maine. But anyways, it's about this military project called the Arrowhead Project that went wrong. They basically opened up a dimension with a particle accelerator, and there's this mist that overtakes the town, and there's creatures that basically are, it's in the mist, and kills a bunch of people. I mean, it's literally just a horror show. Really, it is. And of course,
It's like
The
The Stand,
Shining.
but it's
Yeah.
a mist.
Well, The Stand is 10 times longer than The Mist, but yes, I have not read The Stand yet.
It is
Not yet.
such a long book.
It
is.
I've
That is-
It's one of the only books that I just could not finish.
Same
I read
here.
the
I
expanded
can't.
version. It was even
The
longer.
one that's like 60 hours long or
Yeah.
whatever.
Oh yeah.
No, this
I
one's
enjoyed it.
longer.
I like
It's like
it.
No, I'm
American
sure.
Gods, but like I don't know how I made it through American Gods, but it gave me the same feel.
didn't like that
God,
book.
is this gonna end?
Yeah,
I
no,
should've
for
talked about
sure.
that too. I like that book.
Like, I've never read a piece of literature from him that I didn't like, but like overall, I mean, of course, he's got his prized, Pet Cemetery, The Shining, Carrie, and I suppose Misery, Shawshank,
All the classics.
all the classics.
Speaking of
yeah.
Morgan Freeman,
Yeah, right. There you
who
go.
was still alive,
That's
by
so
the way.
true. That's
Don't believe that
yeah.
fake
Who is
news.
still alive? Thankfully.
Related to what you said, because Ty mentioned American Gods, we never brought up like Neil Gaiman on our why your favorite series is not in our top 10 episode, and I feel like just as an honorable mention, first of all, check out that episode if you haven't. But yeah,
should be part 2.
We don't have any Neil Gaiman fans that I know of. Like in our circle, neither of us are Neil Gaiman fans really. Drew liked Neverwhere, so I guess that would be one. But yeah, Neil Gaiman, I guess what's the other one? What's the one you did with Terry Pratchett? Good Omens.
I feel
That's
bad
fun.
now for not recommending Good Omens. Yeah.
Yeah, Good Omens is a good one. But yeah, but like I don't know. I couldn't quite get into everywhere. Good Omens was a good one. It was fun, right? But
for sure. This has been a lot of fun. I've loved hearing the books that everyone's into. As you know, we'll be getting into more updates about what we've been reading lately, and lots of banter, lots of humor. The other thing that I'm excited about, you'll see more of Drew very soon on our Wandering In Volume 1 deep dive coming out soon. Keep an eye out for that. We're a lot nicer to him in that episode, you'll notice. So I'll start proving my case that I'm not usually mean to him.
good luck.
In the meantime, I think we should try something new. I just made this up on the spot. Justin, what if we did the credits live today? And these guys, if they have anything to say, to disrupt us, to give us a laugh.
Sure.
Just throw it in there.
Shit.
Let's go for it.
I'll do
goodness, I
the
found
music credits.
Little wart on my testicle.
We're not on yet. We're not doing the outro yet. Careful there.
That was easily isolated, actually.
I mean, that's what you asked for, so.
That's right. We're not cutting this. I want you to know.
No, you better not.
You blew
All
it
right,
it's
too
all
fast,
authentic
buddy.
now.
It's not getting in.
Oh yeah. Okay. So,
Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of the Literary Crack Podcast. You can follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Literary Crack PD, and you can send an email to literarycrackpodcast@gmail.com.
it's absolutely
See
true.
you next time.
No, I still gotta talk, man. Our intro music comes from the band Tricks. Our outro music and our segment music comes from the Valerie Stepanov Fusion Project. You should know that because I'm obsessed with them. No one said anything funny yet since the music started. That's how you know. That's how you know how good the music is.
How do
Please
you
tune
beat
in
Jennifer
next
Lawrence?
You shot me down. You literally shot all of my all my testicles jokes down.
I thought
So-
they were great.
He's feeling
I
pretty
laughed at
testy
them.
tonight.
What?
You said them too.
Whatever I say is balls at this point. Like I don't even know.
That's funny. That's funny. If you have any suggestions, any content ideas, any feedback, we always want to hear them. Really appreciate you for tuning in. And of course,
No, he doesn't.
that's an off. You're not supposed to tell people. All right, this is marketing. This is brand recognition we're doing here. Trying to build our reputation. All right.
I care a lot more about this piano than I do about what you're saying, so I think
I
you're
respect
okay.
that.
Same here. So
Is
just
it
stop
bad that I
talking.
just had the same thought?
That's fair. Thanks for listening. In the words
The
of
queen
Justin
has
Hurd.
spoken. Bam.
See you next time.
Make sure to check your balls, please,
And your boobs!
I'll do my
and
best.
your boobs.
And your butt
Check your
crack.
balls and your boobs.